Hey everybody, my name is Jason Stallings. Welcome to the Artifice Podcast. Today I want to talk to you about a couple of really special commissions that I've done for a great client. And originally in 2011, I was commissioned by the American Institute of Plastic Surgery to create a painting for their private waiting room. And I was tasked by Sherry Hayslip Interiors, which is the interior design firm that connected me with the client, to kind of do a modern take on the idea of the Renaissance, High Renaissance, Flemish Renaissance, whatever you want to call it, Vanitas painting. Traditionally, Vanitas paintings are still lives, and in essence, this was a little bit more of a mixture of different things, but the element of still lives, definitely make their way into this project in the two paintings that I did for this project. And this would lead on to collaborations with the client more directly in paintings like Under the Angel, which is a real popular painting of mine. And kind of going into that probably deserves its own video. But I have never really kind of touched on this in a more detailed format, and I've always wanted to. It's one of my favorite paintings. It's this guy, or gal. And I actually ended up selling both of the paintings I did for this. The second painting went to a different collector. It currently sits in their private garage. And the direction that the two paintings took is a little bit different, but the concept is more or less the same. And traditionally, Vanitas paintings were these kind of portraits of a sort of a patron through their worldly goods. Traditionally, they represent things that are very personal, very special to that person. Kind of tell a story about them, but they also sort of tell this kind of overarching concept and story of morality, this idea of the impermanence of worldly goods. In those paintings, traditionally represented by the skeleton or the skull. And I was asked not to include that for, obvious reasons. The idea of mortality, and this being a plastic surgery clinic, maybe not necessarily aligning. So, makes total sense to me. Now, the decision I decided to go with was to include a sort of like sand clock timepiece, as to still maintain the kind of concept, but in a slightly more subtle way, i.e. the passage of time, in contrast to the sort of like worldly goods. In this case, in the first painting, there's a perfume bottle, there's vases, there's flowers, there's grapevines. Some of these things were ideas that I came up with in collaboration with the interior designer, and some of them were kind of my own ideas. On either side, in this center, right and left hand side, there are these abstract sort of like gestural female figures, and they are doing things like dancing, painting, drawing, writing. And I wanted to use that as an opportunity to sort of like move beyond the superficial notion that, this is just a representation of a superficial thing. Far from it. I mean, plastic surgery is something that encompasses a lot of different things, not just aesthetics. So with that in mind, I wanted the concept to delve deeper into the aspirations, the goals, the dreams of the sort of subject matter as an abstract concept. This wasn't necessarily about a specific person or set of people maybe, but more like the idea of people that might be represented in the concept itself. So, and I think that there was some discussion about using purples, violets, things like that, but I also wanted to kind of take, for the initial ground of it, like some influence from Klein, sort of these Franz Klein, these real, sharp, dark gestural shapes that sort of dominate the composition. But I wanted to not have it be just straight black and white, sort of a little bit of like shades of gray in there as well. Excuse me. So with that in mind, it was really fun exploring all these ideas, coming up with sketches, kind of really fleshing out the concept. And the energy in these paintings is really great, especially the first one. And kind of moving into the other commissions, especially with Under the Angel Oak, the discussion was more along the lines of the purpose of it being for the client and sort of their sensory needs. But I kind of want to get into that in another video because it can be more involved. So, that being said, a really great set of paintings that really was able to capitalize on some really good experimentation, energy, things like that. And I'm, real proud of the result that came out of that. And it really sits really well in the space itself. So yeah, that is the kind of story behind Vanitas number 1, Vanitas number 2. And as you can see in the blog article and the website that accompanies this video, the way that the second one was hung was a little more vertical rather than horizontal, even though I painted both of the paintings horizontal. Kind of an intentional decision on the designer's part to, and along with the client's feedback, I assume, to have it fit the space in a certain way that kind of fit their needs. So anyway, yeah, if you want to check out more information, please visit jason-stallings.com. Got tons of information on currently available artwork, prints, books, things like that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.